What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while, and that is because I have run into a plethora of technical issues, starting with the fact that my laptop melted. No, literally, my laptop did like melt without me even using it. It overheated and melted the keyboard. So I had been out of the laptop for quite some time now. Finally invested in a Mac, which I will tell you is a million times better. Hefty price point, but thus far has been worth the price point. So here I am. I'm back, and today we will be talking all about how to apply foundation with a brush. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is because I have people ask me all the time, should I use a beauty blender? Should I use a brush? Like, how should I do my foundation? And to be honest with you, I really do think it depends on the foundation that you're using. For me, and my favorite foundation, which you guys probably know by now, is the NYX Total Coverage Drop Foundation. This one is fantastic, but depending on which foundation you use, some do apply better with brushes and some apply better with beauty sponges. I've noticed for foundations on the more matte side of the spectrum, those tend to be better with a brush, whereas on the dewier side, sometimes having that nice wet beauty blender kind of adds to the dewy effect, which can be very nice too. But with this one in particular, a brush is definitely the way to go, so I thought it'd be a good way to demo what a good brush foundation would look like. For as far as the brush itself, that is kind of the second layer to this. So once you decide if your foundation is better for a brush or a blender, then you need to figure out, okay, well, what is the right brush? In general, the more packed your brush can be, the little hairs in there, the better. So one that I really like is this one by It Cosmetics. You see how round it is? It's really finely packed, and that really allows all those little hairs to make a more airbrushed effect on your skin when you're pressing it in, and it doesn't leave gaps or streaks. Now, one thing you do want to be careful of is, I don't really have one anymore, but I think the closest thing I could show you is one of these. Do you guys remember those like flat foundation brushes from like the 90s that you might still have laying around? If so, get rid of that. It looks almost like a paintbrush, and all it's gonna do is make your face streaky. So if you have one of those, definitely don't want to use that. I would try to find something a little bit more in this category if you can. The other thing is, I think that this is probably and maybe arguably the most important step of your beauty routine or makeup routine. And the reason for that is this is essentially your base face. Like, this is the base to your base face. So you really want to make sure that you get this part done right, because otherwise when you start adding in other layers, you put a little blush in there, you start adding your highlighter, if your foundation isn't smooth and isn't set right, nothing else is gonna lay right on top of it. So you really want to make sure that you get the foundations down right. Literally, the foundations. You gotta lay that right foundation, that way you can build and scale and come up with a beautiful skyscraper. I think you'll find it's probably simpler maybe than you realize. So without further ado, let's get into this. Okay, so now we are zoomed in nice and close. I'm gonna start actually by priming my face, because I do find that to be helpful just in making sure that everything looks smooth and even. And the primer I'm going to be using is one that I've loved for a long time, and this is the NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer. So I'm just going to quickly take this on the face, rub it around, and this will just help it to lay a lot smoother. All right, and sticking, I guess, with the NYX theme, we're going to be using one of my favorite foundations, and this is the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. This is in the shade Olive, Medium Olive. That's right. And this one has kind of a more velvety finish, which is part of why I like using this one with the brush. So it's very liquidy. If you see it, it kind of just like runs down the back of my hand. So I'm gonna drop a decent amount there, and then I'll be going in with this It Cosmetics brush for Ulta, and if you look at it, it is very finely packed, and you want that actually in a foundation brush, because The tighter these little bristles are, the more natural and the smoother it's gonna look on your skin. So I'm just gonna start going in with this. And what you want to do when you apply this is not smear. So I know you want to like paint and kind of do circles, but that is exactly what you don't want to do. So you're gonna take it and you're literally just gonna do these tiny, tiny little bounces, and this is called stippling. So what you're gonna do is just continue to bounce up and down on your skin. So little by little, you will build this up and smooth it out, and you wanna make sure that you're not forgetting your jawline, that you're not forgetting your neck, and that you're not forgetting your hairlines. You also want to be especially careful around the nose because it is kind of hard to maneuver sometimes. So you do have to pay a little bit of closer attention there. Okay, so same thing, just keep putting it on the back of your hand. And little tiny bounces, really easy. And if there's anywhere, oh, and the nice thing about this is you can build it up too. So if you're looking for a little bit of higher coverage, you just add more foundation, more drops in that area, and you can build it up. And this one's great. Like I mentioned, it is a velvety matte, and I really like that for my skin because I have somewhat of a combo skin type. This is great because I think it has a very natural finish to it, but at the same time, it also doesn't like dry the heck out of my skin, which a lot of times matte foundations will do for me. So I'm not always the biggest fan of matte in general, but this one, very nice. And again, just watch out for that hairline. Okay, so I kind of start to go crazy in there and just lose all rhyme or reason and go anywhere, but you can totally do that if you're crazy like me. Okay, so at this point you are technically done applying foundation with the brush, so congratulations if you made it this far. You can now apply foundation with the brush. But this isn't really complete and I don't want to leave you guys here, so just to kind of complete this out for you at a more natural place, I'm going to go ahead and apply some concealer, and this is the, oh my god, I need a new one, Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Sand Sable. This is one of my favorite drugstore concealers. Maybelline has a lot of really good drugstore concealers. The Age Rewind is an awesome one as well, and as you guys are all keenly aware, my dark circles kill me. So just keeping with the theme, I'm gonna continue to use the same brush, and it's very similar. I'm gonna continue to pat, 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 pat. I'll bring it up above the eye as well and not smear back and forth, and just kind of continue to press this into the skin. And this is a really easy way to kind of save on brushes and keep things simple. The last thing I would do is powder up just a little bit. All of this is still very wet on your face, so as you move around throughout your day, it's gonna smear and you don't want that to happen. So starting with the under eyes, I will be using, again, NYX HD finishing powder, and this is their banana powder. I absolutely love this one for the under eyes. All I'll do is take this on a Real Techniques setting brush and just lightly pat underneath the eye, and this adds such a nice brightening effect and sets it as well. So if you are like me and struggle with dark circles, banana powders are your best friend. And you're just gonna pat this. Similar technique to with the foundation or with the concealer. Before you don't want to smear, you're just going to lightly press this into your skin. We will keep with the drugstore theme, and to set the rest of the face, we'll be using this Coty Airspun. It is another really great and affordable product. I think it smells absolutely terrible, so Coty Airspun, if you're listening to me, please, for the love of God, get rid of this atrocious scent. This smells like, I want to say my grandma, but honestly, like, my grandma doesn't even smell. But it smells like that stereotypical powdery grandma, and I just don't want to smell like that. But it is very affordable, and it sets my makeup really well, so that's where I'm at with that. I'm going to take a little bit on my brush, and when it comes to this step, really less is more. You don't want to look cakey, you don't want to look powdery, you just want to help get rid of the tackiness that's on your skin. So you are going to gently apply this anywhere that is wet, and I'm using, again, another Real Techniques brush, and this is their powder brush. Just kind of lightly apply that everywhere that we just put everything. Kind of reminds me of that Charmin commercial, like, less is more. That is your cue here. Alrighty, so at this point, you are technically done. Your foundation is on, you have some concealer on. I showed you how to do that with the brush as well. What you could do next, which would kind of be the next step in this process, would be to bake. I'm not gonna show you that today just because I just wanted you to feel comfortable with the foundation, but I will likely come up with a follow-up to this video to show you how to do that as well, because that can be a little tricky if you've never done it before. It's easy, but there are tips and tricks and things that are better and ways to do that. I will show you that another day. So I'm going to wrap up the face, and then I'll be back. All right, so that is it. I hope that has kind of maybe taken some of the scariness away from you. It really is simple. There's literally one technique, and that is to bounce. So if you can bounce, you can base face. You can get your foundation looking nice. So hopefully you feel a little bit more comfortable now. I will likely come up with some follow-up videos for this, because I can imagine you'll likely have some more questions, such as, well, how do you use a beauty blender then if you are using a more dewy foundation? Or how do you bake your face? Like, those kinds of things are coming up. So I will work on those for you and get those out. But in the meantime, hopefully this will help get you to that next level. So anyways, all right, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not subscribed already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. That way you can see any follow-up videos and videos to come after this. You won't miss anything. Stay in the loop, stay in the know, hit the bell thing. I'm terrible at outros, y'all know this already. So anyways, I will catch you in my next video. Bye.